Okay, so for a bit of context, I've posted some drama stirring shit about this Black Lives Matter stuff on my Facebook, on my Instagram feed, and Marissa has come in telling me how disappointed she is and upset about the fact that I am not spreading encouragement, that I'm spreading cynicism. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tell me about it.
I think when you post something up like that that's completely out of context, that was a private conversation you were having with a friend, where you say in certain parts, like, this is all bullshit, you know, and I know that the general theme of your... that's disgusting. Why would you do that?
I don't know what I'm doing.
The general theme of your message is that you are saying, yeah, like, show me action. Instead of just posting up, like, this black thing or whatever, show me action. And you're saying to me, too, that you are seeing that the only people that are posting up that image are people that never talk about racism and
don't give a shit.
Don't give a shit. You don't understand that they are trying to give a shit probably for the first time in their lives, and your cynicism is going to stop them from giving a shit. Especially when you speak about things and people listen to you and people believe in what you say, because you're a very emotionally switched on person, you're highly intelligent, and you have a lot to say about courage. And about learning to understand each other and speak up with your voice. Your blog is literally called Said with Courage. You're not encouraging anyone to have any courage when you pull down their ideas like that. Yes, it's not creating a radical change right now, okay? But it's the start of something. And I'm disappointed. That's what I was saying. I'm disappointed that you did that. I'm disappointed that you had to post that for whatever reason. I don't know what your reason was for posting that. I don't know why you felt you should post that. I want to know. It
was total impulse. I was just like, yeah, I'm sick of this shit, basically.
Yeah, it was selfish.
Yeah. It probably is a place of cynicism where I'm saying, like, the message that I've said in that shit that I posted is what I still believe in. I still firmly believe in the message of find meaningful action, right? Outside of signaling, find meaningful action, do it. I'm still like all about that, and I stand by that. But I hear what you're saying about the attitude of it, the attitude behind how emotional and how, like, I've mentioned that it's a crock of shit, and I'm saying LMAO a couple of times. So it's like this attitude of like dismissiveness. So I can hear that. I can hear that the attitude is maybe speaking louder than the message, I guess.
And I can understand what you were saying before when you were like, you know, George Floyd wasn't my friend.
Right.
Like, I don't, you know, why should I care about that when it's not my friend?
This is the thing that's always bothered me, right? This is what's always bothered me. When the Twin Towers got taken down, all right, controversial fucking, holy shit, I look like fucking death.
Right.
When the Twin Towers got taken down, here's a big controversy warning for everybody. I couldn't understand why everybody stopped and talked about it for 6 months, and it was the only thing on TV, and it was the only thing anyone gave a shit about. Meanwhile, literally more people than that died every year in a small country in Africa. Every day, there were more people than that number dying, right? And I was like, I just couldn't wrap my head around that as a 13-year-old. I was like, I just don't understand. Like, what is it about, how is it that the world is so loudly pointing when that loud pointing doesn't indicate true values? There's no correlation between let's make change in the world and let's loudly point at things. And then after that, we got the Afghanistan war, and I was like 13, and I was like, no one around me gave a single shit about it, right?
Except SBS. But
yeah. Even barely, even barely, compared to, there were Australians dying. It's the only time we ever hear about anything. Otherwise, schools being bombed, there's so much stuff going on around the world. What about, like despots in Malaysia? What about, organ harvesting in China? There's all this stuff that's constantly going on, and I guess for me to see...
You have to remember, though, we're of the Western world.
And that's all we care about. That's what that means. We only speak English, so we only look at each other and we only care about what's happening in our own backyard. I completely understand what you're saying.
It's fucked up that we have turned a blind eye to those things. But given recent events like Corona, we're suddenly all like, can we all stop turning a blind eye to everything?
I hope so. I mean,
like to everything.
To honestly, I probably am a cynic. You've called me out, and I bet that's all that this is coming down to is that.
Can you examine these people that are posting this black thing on their walls that literally have never had a voice about racism in their life? Can you examine these people from a place of love instead of a place of cynicism? Because that's how we create radical change the world over. In Africa, in Cambodia, in China, everywhere. This is how it starts. So don't fucking use your cynicism to bring that down. Not in any fucking way. I'm disappointed with that.
I hear that, and I hear how passionate you feel about it, and so my reality is that the world is a dark, cold place. That's default. What that means is that I have to bring the change that I want to see, right? It's my responsibility to bring the change that I want to see. Now, I try to do that. I try to do that,
of course you do,
right?
every day.
So every day. I'm trying to do that every day. And if
he's a lifeline counselor on the phones for the suicide hotline,
basically. I will try to take the toxicity out of my message, because I hear what you're saying. Cynicism is toxic, and I've done a lot of work in my past to get rid of that, to sort of cure myself of that cynicism.
Yeah, and I know that, and that's why I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I hear that. So I'll try to take the toxicity out of my message, and I'll see what I can come up with that brings encouragement and opens up an actual dialogue, because I can see that that's where you're...
Because if the black space isn't enough, make that the message, or whatever it is that you want to make the message, but don't discourage people, because that little black square, that's what I'm gonna cry. That's what starts change. That's what puts love back in people's hearts.
Sure.
It's hard for me because I'm deeply humanitarian. Like,
I'm actually deeply not.
I know you're not, and that's what's hard. Like, if it's not really affecting you and it's not your message, then it's like, what's the point? But the truth is that,
it's not so much what's the point. It's just that I will fight for the people in my life, right? The people in my life. And I feel like there's this deep sense of a lack of that in the whole world. We don't need to solve Africa's poverty when we've got our own poverty in our own neighborhood, right? That's, to me, that's what that comes down to. And because by having that approach and by focusing on my attention on my own neighborhood, I'm actually bringing meaningful impact through my emotion. When I get upset about something, I can see the impact of my actions. I can see it at the other end of my hand, right? And so because of that, I feel empowered. There's no sense of disempowerment as I'm walking around absorbing all this information, whereas all these other people are walking around in this impotent rage, like there's so much going on and there's so much injustice and the patriarchy and blah blah blah. Like, what is the patriarchy to you? Who is the professor keeping you down? Because if that person doesn't exist, then that patriarchy only exists in here. And you're seeing what exists outside further in the world through stories that have been told from a suburb that you have no contact with. But the reality of your situation is the world that you interact with.
This is the idea.
And if you can...
But this is an idea that we're not connected to the rest of the world.
I disagree. I feel like by looking after my own backyard, I'm directly impacting the rest of the world, because it's my backyard which is connected to the next backyard. You see that? Because by bringing my own sense of empowerment and change to Brisbane and to even my fucking Fortitude Valley and to the small sphere of influence that I have and the people that I interact with, that's actually impacting people. I can see that it's actually impacting people, and that impact carries on, and eventually I'm sure it makes it down, like it trickles, you know, it makes it across the entire world, it ripples. But as far as like, when I feel that I guess I'm very protective. I'm very protective of what I care about, of what I give my emotions to.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't have as much energy as I do.
I don't.
As well.
It's just not
many people
feasible.
do.
Yeah.
But you've got to also understand that the microcosm of the way that we've worked for thousands and thousands of years is no longer the same because of technology,
Sure.
because of social media, because of the information exchange that we have so rapidly at our fingertips. So there's no way that those issues from the outside world are not going to impact the individual in your backyard.
I think what you're saying is that there's no way the stories of those issues are not going to reach the individual in my backyard, because the impact is not felt.
But we
the
have
impact of that racism. You know what I love? The first thing that my friend Thomas, calling you out, Thomas Johnson, the first thing that he said when he discovered all of this shit, he hit me up and he was like, hey bro, you know, I would just really like to ask, what has been your experience of racism? Like, I'm really curious to know, because I've never asked that kind of thing before. And he's the sort of person who literally, we only share shit talk and memes. And we talk and like, sometimes he would stop when I was a guard when he was wasted and we would just talk shit, right? So this is someone who's like clearly thinking, how does this impact me? How does this impact the people in my life, right? So he's looking around at people that he knows and he's like, what people of color do I know that I can actually talk to?
By the way.
Okay, this is a great conversation, but anyway, I was just really impressed by that. I was just really like, dude,
how has it impacted
good on you? Exactly. Ask, find out, right? It's a different experience here. And that's what I told him. I was like, you know, I've been really lucky. I've been really privileged. All of the fights that racism has caused, I've been able to win. All of the experiences of tension and conflict and whatever, I've been the stronger person in that situation. No one's pulled a gun on me. No one's spray painted or threatened or left like ambiguous. Any racism that I've found, it's been overt, and I've just been able to deal with it in the moment. It's a real lucky. As opposed to, and this is what I told him, ask any Aborigines that you know, man. Like, ask anyone with Aborigine blood. Like, you really want to actually think about this? You really want to, you're actually genuinely curious. We have a deep problem in our own country. There's people are getting killed in fucking...
This has actually created more awareness of that.
Yeah.
For the first time, actually, like, the younger generation...
Tom is asking me about that,
like, oh, hey, the stolen generation, fuck. Like, because for years we've just been like, oh my God, here, have some more money, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But now finally the millennials are like, oh, wait, fuck.
What does it mean?
Shit.
Look,
We've
I'm cynical.
got colonization issues here as well, right?
Yeah, I'm cynical, and I hear your message, and I will do something about it.
Well, I still adore you very much and think that everything that you put out there to the world and the universe is gold. And I'll always support you. I wanted to, I guess just talking about that is good, because and you can hear my perspective, I can hear yours, and there's so many perspectives running around about it right now. And honestly, I mean, where I'm always going to stand, is that if you've done the wrong thing, whatever that might be, or if you've done something that would hurt my family, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're black, white, man, woman, like, I don't care. If you hurt my own, I'll fucking kill you. But when there's injustice that happens to someone for no reason at all, based on the color of their skin, that's not something I can stand for.
Yeah.
Like, that's my stance on it. You know?
Yeah.
That's just not something I can stand for.
We have different attitudes
like, I
around
look at the
humanitarianism.
Chinese people that are suppressed, and I'm like, by their Communist Party, and I'm like, I can't stand for that.
Exactly. That's why I'm so cynical. Because I'm like, I have been literally...
been like, I can't stand
like
for that.
6 months ago, I watched someone get their eyes gouged out by a Chinese police officer in the middle of the street in Hong Kong. Like, where was the fucking response, right? And the response, and I guess what you're saying is celebrate the fact that the response is here now. Celebrate the fact that people are starting to pay attention
do
and give a shit about
China,
it now.
babe,
Fair
we
enough.
probably would. But we can't even get there because they'll put us in a concentration camp.
Well, we can't get to America now either. But
no, but at
hear what you're
least
saying.
America is our ally, right?
Sure.
China's not our fucking ally.
There's a sense of disempowerment, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like there's a difference. We need to have a realistic conversation around what impact we can have and what the purpose of, like, social media is just media to socialize. It should be about how do we meet each other and do something. That's the whole point of socializing.
Well, we have protests happening, and
Yeah.
I think that's a really big thing.
Yep.
Like, we have one happening here in Brisbane.
Yep.
I think it starts outside of Culture Kings. Like, we have...
Look, to play devil's advocate...
The world is doing
to
stuff.
play devil's advocate, like, I'm actually not even gonna go there. I'll get educated first and then I'll go there. So
And that's how it rolls in our fucking household.
that's how you
sometimes.
disagree like an adult.
Look, yeah, I gotta go.
All right, I love you.
I love you too.
I'm gonna stick this on Instagram.